I'm Glenn McGuinness, and this is Outburst. On the program, will high gas prices impact your travel plans this summer?
Definitely.
Probably not.
I haven't seen gas ever get that high.
What used to cost $10 to fill up now costs $30 to fill up.
We've never seen the numbers like this before. Canadians are watching in disbelief as they pay profoundly more to fill up at the pumps. And the trend seems to be heading to higher prices as we move into the summer. We sent our cameras out to ask Canadians if soaring gas prices will force them to cut back on those long road trips. Our question: will high gas prices impact your travel plans this summer?
Absolutely. We were planning on taking the car over to the boat to New Brunswick, which we'll probably end up just leaving the car there and traveling around by foot and just dealing with not being able to go to all the places that we wanted to. It would be nice if it would go down, but I can't see that happening in the near future. So
Definitely. I have people away that I usually go visit 2 or 3 times a year. I haven't been there for a couple of years.
Yes, it will. We were planning on going on vacation, maybe go to the U.S. or go further on to where we plan to go to see the Rocky Mountains and Banff and Lake Louise. And because of the gas prices, it was a plan 2 years ago we were going to do, my wife and I, and you know what? It's put the kibosh on that. So, yep, we're staying pretty local.
They definitely will be. It's getting harder just even to go to work day to day. It's consuming so much gas in my plans that I'm originally born in Halifax, and this is Yarmouth, so that's a 3-hour drive away. To go back to my hometown, that would be $150, $200 with the gas. That's almost a week's worth of working right there. It definitely can affect how I can travel, who I can go see, what I can go do, especially over the summertime.
Probably not, no.
Why?
Because I'm retired, I have a big truck, but even if we go somewhere, what can you do? I'm not happy though, and I'm not happy with Justin, because this is not about your carbon footprint. It's not about saving the environment. It's just an extra tax. It's a waste of money.
No, because I don't have car, it doesn't cost for me. So I'm okay with that.
No.
Why?
Well, I guess I have enough margin in the pocket, and I love travel, so there you go.
They probably would if I drove more, but because I don't drive a lot, I don't think it will. But
I haven't seen gas ever get that high. I think I saw it hit $2 the other day, and I remember during the beginning of the pandemic it was like 80 cents, so I find that kind of a shock, but hopefully it doesn't impact my plans because it's been beautiful and I want to get outside.
Absolutely. How? Won't go as far, won't spend as much. We're sinking our money into other things that limits our other disposable income spending.
I don't think so, because it's all a relative sense, but they're certainly part of the thinking.
Yeah. And what part is that now?
The overall cost, how far you might go or how much you might spend. If doing a driving trip, may just do a smaller circuit versus a bigger circuit. That's all.
Probably not.
No, sure?
No.
Why?
We've been cooped up with COVID for so long that it's a chance to get out and do something. Take that opportunity.
No matter what the cost?
Well, within reason. It's difficult, but we'll do it.
Probably not.
Why?
It's only nice out for such a short period of time, and I think you just have to prioritize, so it's not going to stop me from going to the cottage or the lake or that sort of stuff.
No, but I'm sure it'll impact a lot of other people that have to go to work long distance and, travel for sure. It's disgraceful.
No, I don't think they will. However, I can understand if a young family, fixed income, if they're watching their budget, it certainly will. And it's going to affect the whole economy, restaurants, hospitality industry completely, because I think people are going to, again, stay home.
So I think it's going to have a big impact, especially on tourism. I mean, Fredericton's big on tourism, so is, well, most of the Maritimes for that matter. And I think you won't see the economic climb in terms of before the COVID.
I don't think you're going to see a big impact in terms of growth. Maybe the cruise ships, but that's about it. I mean, once I get home, I don't plan on making any other long trips. I mean, it's just too much.
I don't think it'll impact our travel plans at all.
I don't think so. I mean, we've given up enough already for the pandemic, so we're going to spend the extra money. Now, people that don't have the money might not be able to do it, but we're going to do it.
Absolutely, as I was just talking about, right? It does for food, it does for gas, it does for everything. Yes. Why wouldn't it? I mean, what used to cost $10 to fill up now costs $30 to fill up. It absolutely. What used to cost 99 cents at the grocery store costs $2 at the grocery store now. So absolutely.
Yes, it does already. I just started a new job and I'm walking to work 20 minutes. Like I'm parking at a free parking spot and then walking 20 minutes to work and back every day because it's too, gas.
The wages are much lower in New Brunswick, and with gas prices so high, how are people supposed to survive off of that and travel?
Yeah.
Enjoy life.
The accessible taxi now you need to pay more. Like now it's almost $20 per trip. So if you wanna go and back, and it's $40. So this is in back the accessible taxi. Very much.
It's probably going to keep going up, honestly. So I don't already have a car because I can't afford it. And if I were to add the cost of gas right now, it would just be impossible to me. I've had friends tell me that they're actually unable to afford to go to work. And that blows my mind. Like, you can't afford to get to your job to end up broke by the end of your pay period. Yeah, no.
While many Canadians continue to wear masks in public, even though mask mandates have been lifted in most situations across the country, living with the pandemic has become somewhat of a routine, not only here in Canada, but around the world. So while some people still follow the safety protocols put out by our health experts, other Canadians may have become a bit more complacent when it comes to COVID-19. We took to the streets to ask people if they have perhaps let their guard down a bit when it comes to COVID. Our question.
After more than 2 years, are you still worried about COVID-19?
Not near as much. It seems that you're able to move around a little more freely now, but common sense, I think, still helps. If you go into a location where you find a little bit crowded, you can still use your mask and take the precautions that you feel are appropriate.
Absolutely. What? I have at least 4 medical conditions, which makes me very high risk.
Not to the extent that I was before.
Yeah.
I'm less worried about it. I kind of feel now it's more of a just bad cold, and let's live with it and get it over with.
Oh, I am still definitely worried about COVID-19.
Why?
Well, because all the numbers, it's out. Scientifically, it's a fact. Here in Saskatchewan, each week the numbers are a little higher than the week before.
No, I'm not worried about it. I know it's a thing and it's good to be protected and precautions, but I'm not letting it interrupt my life.
Yeah, me too. Since I had COVID, I don't know, I feel protected against it. So.
I've never had it, but I'm not scared to get it. I don't want it, but if I get it, it is what it is now.
No, not particularly.
Why not?
It's just that it's, like they say, people aren't getting seriously sick from it, and during the pandemic, I was out chumming around with her. We were going out for walks and stuff, and as long as you masked up and you were careful, everything seemed to be okay.
It just kind of became normal over time. So I see people, including me, just feel more comfortable talking about it and in general.
Oh yes, I am, yeah.
Why?
I think there are chances that there may be new variants coming in, and we may have to, struggle again. So yeah, a little bit worried, but hopeful as well that probably that's the end of it.
I think we got a high vaccination rate, and I think that it seems to be milder. The hospitalizations and the death rates are still going down, so I'm not as worried.
Well, we've long since figured out how to manage the worst effects of it. It's the variant that's going around now doesn't seem particularly serious compared to other things, and just like other viruses before it, we learn to manage.
I think I know so many people that have had it at this point that I'm not scared. I think it's easy to forget at the beginning that there was that legitimate fear of the unknown and that everyone was just actually fearful of what was going to happen. So at this point, no, I think that fear is gone, and I'm triple vaccinated. It is what it is at this point. We got to move on and live our lives.
Because I heard many things and I read on internet many things about it, and it makes me worry and scare me like that. But I try to ignore it, but the media and things that has effect on us and make me worry about it.
At this point, no. I understand it's there, like the flu is and other colds, but I'm out there and going to events, and just finished a 3-day conference here in Ottawa, and we've been in the meeting rooms, and obviously there's some people with more concerns, but I'm fine at this point.
Yes.
Why?
Because it's still roaming around, even flus with different types, and people just now are used to it, and nobody is even bothered.
What about you, sir? Are you still worried?
I won't say I'm worried, but like she says, it is still there. Just even during the pandemic, I'm not a worrier. I take precautions, and that's it.
No, I was kind of over it after the first wave. I think when we all went back to work in I think it was June, I was content. My wife was a nurse, and I was like, you know what? She was on the COVID floor, and I didn't get it. She didn't get it. I was like, if I would have got it by now.
I am always worried about COVID-19. I think COVID-19 is here to stay for a very long time, if not for life. I'm worried about it because I have health condition where my blood is not that great, and I have to control my blood every month. And my mom is a senior, and she has cancer, so we're always worried about taking my mom out and catching this COVID-19. Even though she's triple vaccinated, she's still afraid to go out.
I work in a school, and so I'm exposed to a lot of different people. And we are in the 6th wave, and people are still getting COVID. I got COVID myself. And so, yeah, I do take care, and I still wear my mask, sanitize, and that. Until we know that there are no more incidences, then it'll be better. But until then, it's just a matter of taking care of yourself and watching out.
I choose to still wear the mask, and it's just an extra precaution. Am I overly concerned with COVID-19? I would say no. I mean, having been vaccinated, right, and most of the population's vaccinated, and for the rest of the planet, it's still a work in progress, but it's going to take a lot of time before we get to where I guess we all want to be. I mean, we all want to be COVID-free.
Absolutely. As I say, I'm immunocompromised. I've just come off of breast cancer and treatment, and so I'm always very nervous. He actually asked, do we need to wear a mask? He says, or do we do what everybody else is doing? So we always have our masks with us. Of course you're concerned about it, but I don't think it's going to go away. I don't even think it's 3 or 4 or 5 years. I think it's always going to be here.
How many Canadian prime ministers were there in the 1970s? 1, 2, or 3?
Good question. 2, I believe.
2. I'll say 2 as well.
2.
3.
3. It's just one prime minister.
I'd say 3.
1, 2, or 3?
1.
2.
2.
It's 2. You're right. Well, get excited.
During the 1970s, 2 people served as Prime Minister of Canada, Pierre Trudeau and Joe Clark. Following Lester Pearson's retirement in 1968, Pierre Trudeau was elected federal Liberal Party leader, becoming Prime Minister. His party would win the 1968, 1972, and 1974 federal election campaigns. But after 11 years in power, Trudeau's luck would change, if only for the time being. In the May 1979 federal election, Joe Clark's Progressive Conservatives managed to win 136 out of 282 seats in Parliament, granting them a minority government. However, Clark's tenure as Prime Minister would last less than a year. His minority government's federal budget was voted down in the House of Commons in December of 1979, forcing another election set for February of 1980. Clark's Progressive Conservatives would lose the 1980 election, with Trudeau's Liberal Party coming back and winning a majority government.
Federal politics may not be everyone's cup of tea, and that became apparent in years past with low voter turnout during elections. This may be attributed to voter apathy or dissatisfaction in government or with politicians in general. So when it comes to democracy in this country, how could Canadians become more engaged? Our question.
What would it take to make you more interested in federal politics?
I don't know, because I'm heavily involved in federal politics in BC and connect with it on different levels. And I don't know what it's going to take to get people to wake up and be aware that politics is important in their life and it actually affects things they do from day to day. And I've thought of this question for many years. How do you get more people engaged in understanding how politics affects their lives and influences and how much power they have to influence politics?
I used to be very involved in federal politics, got a little older, got very disenchanted from the whole thing. I find it's devolved into a lot of name calling, and it's hard, I think, for the average person to sit and watch something like Question Period, which I honestly used to do in my early 20s. And you barely even get information anymore, I think, by listening to it. So I don't know what it would take, but certainly a shift in the way things are currently done and a lot more civility in the House of Commons as a starter.
So yeah, I'm really interested in federal politics, and I'm interested in getting Leslyn Lewis elected as the next Conservative Party leader and maybe our next Prime Minister, God willing.
Well, for me, probably a party that will actually stand up and be something other than what all the other parties are. Especially there are more traditional points of view that aren't really represented, even among the more conservative parties.
Probably hear more of the good about it. I don't watch the news and all I hear is bad things consistently and what they said they were going to do and then what they didn't do. So I know I think there's an election coming up, but I don't even know either side. So I think for me to be more interested in it would be just to hear more of the positive of what they've done instead of all the negative.
Some honesty among the politicians would help a lot, and some honesty among the media would help a lot. You know, you just don't know who to believe and what to believe anymore, and where to source out the truth, and yeah.
Okay, sure.
Those echo my sentiments.
It just turns people off, I think. And I think there's so much apathy among the young people. I mean, we're still connected, we still listen to what's happening, but we see a lot of apathy in younger people.
I think everybody needs to be engaged in different ways in terms of communications. So you need your information offered how you want it. So sometimes I think CPAC is a perfect example of a great way of getting information about federal politics to the general populace. But everybody needs their information in different ways. So television, radio, preferably moving away from printed media, but there are some great internet-based options now. So
because I live in a democracy and because I'm so grateful, I don't live in countries that are not democracies, such as Russia and such as China, but democracies, if people don't take an interest in doing civic actions, which they should do, such as voting.
Just knowing that my voice can be heard and there would be outcome of it. So what I'm saying is that if there was better communication between people and government.
I think we are quite engaged anyway. I really don't know what else I could do, but I think there are some issues that near dear to us is of course environment and inflation. These are two, I think, more issues that we think are pressing issues at this point.
I don't even follow politics really, because it's just all
The lesser evil.
Yeah, you know, they say one thing, do another, promise this, do, I don't know.
In an age when many of us do our banking, shopping, and even socializing online, the threat of our personal information falling into nefarious hands as we go about our everyday business can be concerning. We took to the streets to ask Canadians if they feel their online information is safe and secure. Our question:
how do you feel about your personal security online?
That's a big concern. For instance, I mean, my crypto account was hacked into. If there's codes, source codes, it can always be broken into. And so that's a big problem. And hackers are finding more and more intelligent ways to get by it. The most harmless little question that they ask on Facebook or any other social medias, they're actually, some of them are hackers, just getting information, like solving a puzzle. And as soon as you solve the puzzle, they're into you, right? Same with answering a phone with an unknown number. You know, as soon as you pick it up, they're in your phone. And that recently happened to me lately as well.
Not very good. I had my Facebook account hacked and couldn't get back into it. I only got back into it because I knew somebody on Instagram who worked at Facebook. And one of our business pages has gotten hacked. Like, it's so not great.
If I had something to hide, I would stay offline. I don't have a lot of confidence in security there, but we monitor it very closely, and if something goes south on us, we're ready to react to it. Can't do much more than that, really.
For the most part, I feel fairly confident. I happen to work for a software company, so maybe that gives me a false sense of security, no pun intended, but for the most part, I'm not too worried about it.
We do everything online, and we've never had an issue with it, so
Yeah.
we're going to continue doing that.
I feel good about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there is much security, to be honest. It's probably everything's out there online, so like all our personal info and yeah.
Every time I download a new app on the App Store, a pop-up comes on, ask app like not to track, and it pretty much like states like you're being tracked everywhere you're going.
Yeah.
And even with Snapchat, you can stalk Snap Maps and see where all your friends are at the exact moment. So it's not ideal.
Yeah, it's a scary feeling, but technology is so involved in our lives. It's kind of hard to try to like lean away from something like that.
It's a little bit hard to answer this question because like always you have scammers and stuff, emails. If you sign up to any like apps or something, always you need to be sure like the website is secure and everything. Especially when you need to purchase online and use your Visa or your debit card.
There is no personal online security.
Can you explain why you say that?
I just think our privacy we don't have any privacy. They can do and see whatever they want.
My personal security online, I'm more comfortable with that than I am with the government and big tech sharing information about me.
Okay, madam?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about the online information. I'm concerned. We always hear about hacks and leaks and data breaches, and it does bother me.
Well, I've certainly been hacked a few times over the last year, so I'm cautious about opening certain emails. And yeah, I think we have to be pretty vigilant about being hacked. I trust my institutions, and I'm careful about who I sign up with as a result of needing to trust them.
Funny you should mention that. I just had to cancel my credit card yesterday because it was hacked, and no idea when, but got a statement and noticed that there were charges. Then they started at like $2, then $10, then $20, and $50 that started coming in, so I had to cancel my credit card. And that's probably the second time in a year that I've had to cancel that credit card. And at work, we've had our website hacked, and we've had to deal with security systems on that. Cybersecurity to me is big. And more and more as we allow ourselves, all our phones to connect and all these talking and Alexa and everything else is opening things up. And I don't think people understand how open all their information is. I just assume that everybody knows everything I'm doing. And that's the assumption I make now.
Oh, recently I'm not comfortable with that, and I'm not secure, and I have to
worry about it and think more than 5 times, should I do that or not? But banking, I think, is better than the other things.
I would say I put no effort into that, and I'm very vulnerable from a personal security standpoint, and that's on me. It's not something I worry about, but I probably should.
Well, pretty good, but I was hacked once by an online bank, and they got into my account. It was refunded by the bank, but it happens. It does happen. Even no matter how secure you are, people can find a way in. So yeah.
Okay, and you, how do you feel about your online security?
I trust my bank so far, but I think we are really very behind on cybersecurity, and we should be up to date with what we can do as consumers.
I think it's good, but every time I use my phone, I always see those tips on, you should turn this off to stop the tracking. But I feel it's pretty safe because I just use everything online with my credit card, and my dad always taught me, he's like, hey, if someone's going to steal your information, credit card company's going to back you up. So I use my credit card first, because my debit card, that's my money. I gamble with other people's.
I feel like I'm safe, but now that everything is going on with the war over in Ukraine, and there's a lot more cyber hackers and stuff like that, but a lot more cyber companies are hiring people to make stronger, like, firewalls, I guess, to protect from digital hacking. And now that also like banks and stuff, everything's switching over to cryptocurrency. So I feel that it's going to get a lot more secure online.
I don't trust it. I'm very leery. I watch what I do. I try to change my my codes and that.
I think it's something we give up too easily, I suppose. I know foreign governments can use it against us, and corporations can benefit from it.
There's smarter people than me out there, I know that. I just try to constantly change my password, and my work requires me to do that, so I do the same at home, just as much as possible, just constantly change it.
For what I use it for, I find it's pretty secure. You know, I don't do a lot of online shopping or anything like that, so yeah, no, what I use it is good.
Everybody's got to be careful on there. I personally haven't had a problem yet, but it's definitely getting a lot worse. And since COVID had happened, it seems to be a lot more people are at home and coming up with their own scams, so you got to be careful.
Thanks for watching this episode of Outburst on CPAC. If you have any comments about this show or any other show, you can find us on social media. You can also find us on our website at www.cpac.ca. I'm Glenn McGuinness, and on behalf of my colleagues at the Cable Public Affairs Channel, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.